Welcome to our retirement, folks. Morning, folks.
Morning.
Oh, we've had a bit of rain.
I think it's for the past 4 days it's rained during night.
Right.
Yeah.
Which we need.
We do, yeah. At least if it rains during night, it's not
Yeah.
as bad, I don't think.
No. So, yesterday, yeah,
Did you do any filming yesterday?
I didn't do any filming, no, because, well,
Mick and Jane were.
Mick and Jane wanted to come up and have a look at the studio, but they'd missed a bus, and I said, "Oh, I'll come and pick you up. We're just sat here waiting for you, so I might as well come and pick you up." So we went and picked them up and drove straight up to Mill, and showed Mick and Jane the studio. Of course, they liked it.
Had a good look round, didn't they?
Yeah. They met Mike from the sign, who was the sign writer, and they met Jane round the corner. They've repaired the door.
Yeah. Quick.
He got me message and he says, "Don't worry, Trevor, no problem." So he fixed the door, no problem. Which I'm glad about. And we went down. Did we go to have lunch first?
Yeah.
Yeah, we did. We went down to St Jude's, and me and Pat, we had our kiddie winkies meal.
Yeah.
In there.
Chicken chips and beans.
Chicken strip.
Just enough, really.
Yeah.
It's not, you don't feel overfaced, do you?
It's only £7.
Yeah, a couple of pieces of chicken and
some chips, fries.
And a few beans in a little cup.
A little cup of beans, yeah. And then we went into the gallery, and there's an exhibition in there that we've never even really
We've
looked
at from a
distance,
sort of distance,
really.
but we've never actually gone round each exhibit and had a look. And we quite liked the, can I explain it? They're like stuffed things, aren't they?
Figures.
Yeah, there's a map.
White, they're all white.
Yeah.
Stuffed.
It's like it's cotton woolly.
Yeah.
And one of the exhibits is a lady sat in like a bell-shaped.
I suppose I should have filmed that.
Yeah.
Mind you, they might not like that.
And she's holding a swan. The body of the swan's at the front of her, and she's got the head sticking out of the back somewhere here, hasn't she? And it's quite a big one, quite a big exhibit. And then all over in the middle, she's got, I'm assuming it's the same person, like babies, little babies hanging.
With umbilical cords.
And they've got umbilical cords, so they look as though they've just been born. And then over at another place, there's, I think it's a man, and he's holding a deer. And they're all in white.
Yeah.
So you're trying to figure out what is.
It's all like one piece.
Yeah. Got dangly legs and a shape of
Yeah,
a
they're
deer.
very well done, they're very good.
Done. Yeah.
Oh, look, it's nearly cleared up, look.
Oh, it has, yeah. What else were there? I mean, there were other things in there. There was some, like, somebody had done some, like, it was tubing. And there were different, there were yellow, white, and another colour. can't think what that was. And it had all been threaded onto like chicken wire. So they were all hanging, it were like bulbs of it, weren't it?
Yeah. I admire your attempt at describing these things.
Oh, why is that?
Well, because I won't know where to start describing them, the same.
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, we went from there to that bar, didn't we? I don't know how it took us so long to do just those few things.
Yeah, Jane and I went in that new shop that's opened. Who was doing T-shirts and hats, beanie hats and hoodies and different things like that. I went in there, and then I think we went. Then we walked round to that bar, didn't we?
I think so.
Yeah,
Because we seem to
bar.
take ages to do just those few things, really.
Yeah.
We're all day, weren't we?
And you were a long time in gallery.
Yeah.
Because you were looking at photographs and asking Jane to send you photographs of like shadows and of Mick.
Jane's done a few photographs of Mick and things with these shadows and that. And
in the house.
I really liked them, so I'm gonna do some drawings from them. And our Tracy rang. She were up at the doctor's. They'd asked her to go in to see him, and she said, "Where are you?" And I said, "Well, we're in Farsley." And she says, "Do you want me to come and photograph them two drawings? You know, the ones that I sent to Andy, but they weren't good enough." So Tracy came and photographed them.
Well, she were there, wasn't she? Outside.
Yeah, waiting for us. And she photographed them with her camera. So I think I've sent them directly to Andy. So hopefully they'll be good enough to do prints from.
And you took Mick and Jane.
I took car back to the yard, and Mick and Jane walked down the canal home.
Jane wanted to have a long walk. And Tracy took me back to here.
Yeah. And I spent some time. I thought, I'm still not, I still wasn't overly satisfied with the site. So I've sort of redesigned it a bit. There were things on it that, to me, were hard to see. And I reckon people couldn't see some of the things, some of the little buttons on that you click to go onto different pages and things. So I've redesigned that. Hopefully that, I think it looks, I've looked at it on my phone and it does look clearer.
Right.
Yeah. And there we are.
That's what we did yesterday and through the night.
Yeah. Actually, I watched something Budapest Hotel.
Oh, yeah.
The what? Budapest. The Grand Budapest Hotel or something?
Yeah, something great.
Well,
great.
Jane had been to see it at cinema. And I saw it on Prime and I thought, oh. She said it was an off-the-wall thing. You know, a bit
strange.
Yeah, so I thought, well, that sounds right up my street. Yeah, and it was strange, yeah. But yeah, we're interested.
It's supposed to be a true story, you said, didn't you?
Yeah. Well, the writer, the guy who wrote the book,
got the story from.
Said it's all factually based. It's not something he's made up out of his imagination. It actually happened.
Yeah.
What did happen?
It's a bit hard to say, isn't it, really?
What?
It was such a... Well, I came in where
it
fella of the...
It was really about how that beautiful, massive building came into his possession in the first place, and it was bequeathed to him in a will. But the family of the person who left him it objected and challenged the will, didn't they? And tried to make out that he killed the woman in order to get this
the hotel.
Yeah, and apparently there was a priceless painting in this building that in the home of the lady.
The apple.
The boy with the apple.
Boy with the apple.
That she'd left to him, this guy, and not a family, and they were going bonkers about that as well. So that basically what it was based on, but it was
how they were trying to get
weird.
rid of him, and
what a very peculiar. But yeah, I liked it. That's what, and it was a long film. It was still on when you come up.
Yeah, and I watched it for quite a while.
Whenever Pat comes up to the bedroom about 11 o'clock. And sometimes in anticipation of her coming, I'll put it on some housey programme, you know, where they're doing an house up. But I might have been watching a film on Prime. So I'll watch that until it finishes. And Pat will come.
It finished at quarter to 12,
And she wants to know all that's gone on before she came up.
Yeah. And why is he doing
Why
that?
is he doing that? Who's that? Side of me.
Well, he's trying to watch it.
Yeah.
Poor Trevor. That's your head off, don't I?
Yeah. Yeah, you do. When I'm halfway through a film, you want to know all the ins and outs of what led up to that point. When we were in the van together, Pat used to sit on the bed watching the telly, and I used to be at the front on my computer. But at 9 o'clock, I used to go and lay on the bed with Pat and watch the telly with Pat. So
then I'd have to find something that...
Pat would have from, I don't know, 3 o'clock in the afternoon until 9 o'clock at night. She would have dominion over the television. And then at 9 o'clock, she would have to concede dominion and find something that I could watch, which is very, very restrictive.
Yeah. And usually at 9 o'clock, that's when the good programme comes on. Yeah.
So that's why Pat likes not being in the camper and being here, because she can watch what she likes from 9 o'clock at night here.
Well, sort of. Wait, it depends
who's in room with
yeah.
you.
Sometimes I have to watch what Tracy and Trudy want to watch.
If Trudy's here.
Trudy's here. If it's just Tracy usually falls asleep.
So she's not bothered.
She'll say, put what you want on, Mum. But she does find some other things that I quite get involved with, you know. I don't like to say this, but I've started watching this Married at First Sight, which I always thought, oh God, that must be awful to watch. I got
a hair.
Oh my God. But I've got into it. And then I've been watching this Black Snow, and I think that's in Australia or somewhere like that, and that's quite good.
Is it a play or something?
It's a series. No, it's not a documentary. It's about it's been made up. It's a detective and what have you. And when he was apparently when he were younger, his father were a brute, and he's been in prison all for 20 odd years for killing mother.
You'll get all details now.
So this detective's a little bit, how can I say, there's something, it's affected him. So that if he gets stressed or his dad rings him or he harms himself.
The detective does?
Yeah. And he's a nice bloke, but he just gets this. I think it's because he thinks he's like his dad, and his dad had a bad temper,
Right.
and he'd attack people, and I think he feels that he could become like his dad.
Right.
So he hurts himself to stop himself from being violent with somebody, I think.
All right.
But I'm not a psychologist. And,
She's pretty clever, is Pat. She can work things out very quickly.
oh yeah, this morning when we were watching Chrome,
Yeah.
he said he wanted to get back to doing something that he'd
Nothing
left
to do
behind.
with what he normally does.
No, van life and T-shirts and
his shop and all that. And
I
Pat straight away said, his music.
wants to get back to his music.
And sure enough he did.
Yeah.
That's what he says he was.
He does have, he used to be a DJ.
Yeah.
Did decks, didn't he?
Yeah.
Music on decks and go to gigs and clubs and play music. And that, he wants to get back to it. Because he's just been recovering from his back. Every now and again his back goes and he's laid up for so long, isn't he? In van.
Yeah.
And he said there were 3 days in van that he couldn't do much. And he just got to thinking, oh, I've got to get back to my music.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And you guessed.
I guessed.
I have to ask Pat when I'm watching stuff. I was saying to Jane the other day, I only get 70% of what's going on when I'm watching something. So that's about as much as I can hope to understand about what's going on. So I have to ask Pat.
Did you get the hotel last night? I thought he did.
Yeah, I think I did.
It was that weird he got it.
Yeah, it suited me, yeah.
Yeah, suited you.
I mean, I was watching a film the other day, and I got 3/4 of the way through the film before I realised that this other person in the film was him years ago, in the past. And I thought it were two separate people for 3/4 of film.
And it won't. Yeah.
I was saying to Jane, I once watched one like that, and every time it went back in past it went to black and white, and that suited me because it were obvious then. I didn't know what to do what I ought to.
Yeah. Yeah. In that Black Snow it does that. It goes back
Oh, does it?
to what were happening to the person before they went missing.
Right.
And everybody usually thinks that this person has just gone, taken off somewhere, and then they find them dead. And he's there trying to...
Don't people look alike? Do you think people tend to look alike?
sometimes in the film.
Yeah, I do. And I get mixed up about who's who.
Yeah. Yeah, you can do.
And you'll say, oh, she don't look a bit like that. She's got blonde hair and other woman's got dark hair. And I think, oh, that's not a big enough... that's not a big enough difference.
Right. Like Jane were looking at through our book that you'd written faster than a Weaver's shuttle yesterday.
Yeah.
And there's a picture in there where I'm helping Trevor move a piano into someone's house.
Yeah.
And I've got, it must have been cold, I've got my big purple coat on and a scarf.
Yeah.
And she said, that ain't you, is it? I said, yeah. She said, well, your hair looks darker. And I think it did as I got into my middle years, my 30s and that. It started to go darker than when I was younger, because it was practically blonde, wasn't it, when I met you?
You were a blonde bombshell.
And obviously I got this big coat on to keep me warm.
Yeah.
And
Well,
I had my back.
Big kite on
You did, yeah, you did.
Yeah.
And your hat. Always had a hat on.
Yeah.
It's one day I haven't gone bald, isn't it? With all these hats that you wear.
The same, yeah.
And anyway, she was stood there looking at it and she says, Can I buy this, Trevor? She says, I'd like to read this.
I thought they'd read it.
I thought we'd given them one.
I don't know about that. I don't know whether Cash or somebody bought one, and I just assumed
He'd pass it on.
Yeah.
Obviously he hadn't.
Yeah. I said, I can't sell you it. You're a friend. I can't do that. Oh, you must. No. No, I can't do that, Jane. So they've taken my book to...
Jane's going to read it.
She's going to read it.
I wonder if she'll read it on the train tomorrow. She's
might
going
do.
to London tomorrow with her granddaughter.
Aye. And we've got to babysit Nick for a few hours.
Yeah. Not babysit, but
Well, yeah.
keep him occupied.
Yeah.
I
A
don't
bit
know
of
whether
light relief.
Yeah, I don't know whether he's... is this drawing yet again? Cause
I don't know, I'm not sure.
Oh, I'll have to ask him.
Well, he ain't sure. I think he might. The last time I went across there, when Jane went out, I went across. And he had he was just doing like a border.
All right.
For one that he had on table.
Right. Is that where he draws on kitchen table?
Yeah.
Right. Because he's got that big room at front, hasn't he? Where he keeps his paintings.
He paints, if he does a canvas, he paints in that room.
In that room.
Yeah.
But if it's a drawing, he just does it on the table.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
And I'll be going, well, I think we're both going up to the studio today, aren't we?
Yeah, at some point. This afternoon, are we?
This afternoon. For a couple of hours, whatever. Might get a bit done.
Yeah.
So that's it, folks.
Yeah.
So hopefully I'll see you tomorrow, Friday. Pat's got to go to the docks tomorrow.
Yeah.
So what time we got to be there? Did you say 10:30? Did you say?
Yeah.
So I might not do a video. I
or-
might not be able to do a video at morning.
Oh, it's raining.
Oh, it's raining again.
Yeah, 10:35.
10:35, yeah. So we'll probably struggle to do a video tomorrow morning, a chat, you know. All right, folks. See you when we see you. Bye.
Bye.